Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Early Morning Core. I'm your host, Tristan, and this is going to be a true crime episode. I figured since my podcast is made for everything horror, that includes the real stuff, which is going to be about the Bibb County Bunker in Alabama, which is my home state. If you follow me on Instagram, you may have learned that at some point. I don't know, but this is one of the most horrific cases of recent years. Like, the arrests happened just last year. But yeah, this took me forever to do. I had to delay the episode twice. Okay, it was supposed to come out Friday. I pushed it back to Sunday. And then Sunday rolled around and my notes still weren't done. So I had to finish up my notes yesterday, which was Monday, and it is now Tuesday. So yeah, my deepest, most sincerest apologies. I promise. Actually, I can't promise that. But I will try my hardest not to ever do that again. I just did not know how vast I would have to get into this. And the thing is that the case is still ongoing. The trials haven't even happened yet. But there's just kind of a lot of just vague information. Like, this will be an explicit episode. And warning, if you are kind of sensitive to violence or crimes against children, you may want to skip this episode. I'm probably going to be crashing out a couple times at least and have to take a break for this. But yeah. Alright, let's go ahead and get into it. There's, like I said, I am also not experienced with this, so my timetable is probably off. But I'm going to try my best. I did try my best. Okay, so we find out that the investigations started in February of 2025, like early February, like February 4th. And that was because someone reported the child abuse and the bunker. Because apparently one of the kids in school was kind of behind, like, development wise. Like, they were, I don't know, they seemed out of it and just bad vibes. So of course the teacher is like, that doesn't seem normal. Let me go ahead and report this. So, but the investigation led to the arrest of, and you're going to hear a lot of this first guy, but it led to the arrest of William McElroy, Dalton Terrell, and Andres Trejo Velasquez. The court filings say the incidents occurred between January 2024 and early 2025, with 5 victims, all under the age of 12. 3 more individuals have been arrested: Rebecca Brewer, Ricky Terrell, and Sarah Terrell. Now, that brings the total up to, 6? We will have 8 defendants total as of, what's today? As of June something 2026. So, yeah. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, the 5 victims all under the age of 12. Let's just go ahead and say I have a page dedicated to what they are being charged with. And when you hear of under the age of 12 and those crimes being committed against them, it's going to make you mad. Especially if you're a parent. But, Yeah, the Rebecca Brewer, Ricky Terrell, and Sarah Terrell, and they waived their right to bond, which means they cannot bond out of jail. So they're going to be staying in there until at least the trial dates. But Ricky Terrell asked if he could hug his wife, and his request was denied. I think this was like in the jail. This was, or not even in the jail. This was like at the court whenever they were getting their stuff taken care of. I don't know. But so far, there have been 10 victims have been identified. And you're going to hear me say this a few times, but there's also like kind of conflicting information. But the ages ranging from 3 years old to 15, while most are under the age of 10. Oh my god, this is fucking sickening. Ages 3 to 15. I haven't even gotten into what they're being accused of. Oh, but because I know, I'm mad. Okay. Here we go. This is what they are being accused of, allegedly did. They were drugged, restrained, and taken into the bunker where, okay, and this is not from the news report, this is from me. They were taken into the bunker where sick fucks pay to abuse them. And we do get into how much the 8 defendants were getting paid. And they usually say about $1,000 a night. But the way that they say it, I think is like somebody pays all of them $1,000. Well, like pays $1,000 out of pocket. Does not pay $8,000. Okay, so you're looking at $1,000 divided equally among 8 people. That's not even $200 a fucking person. Oh my god, I'm gonna lose it. And they were described as appointments. Oh god, I'm gonna be sick. I need something stronger in my coffee. The next court hearing was set for August 2020. Not August 2020. Was set for August 21st, 2025. Which, and look, most of these court hearings, we surprisingly don't have much information from them. There was like one message from a judge saying that he wants more information going to the public, but then it was very much, there was an evidentiary hearing, and then it was like a never mind, we don't need the public to know about this. And when we do get into the part of the evidence that we are receiving, yeah. Okay, so far we have 7 people behind bars. I know, I've only said 6 names in the past one. I don't know who the 7th person is, but this was literally the difference between 2 different news articles from the same news company. So I've got no idea who it is, but I do have all 8 written in the end where I have all of their charges as well. Authorities fear there are more victims and abusers. Sheriff Jody Wade says, I have been in law enforcement for 33 years, and it is absolutely the most horrible thing I've ever seen. The children were apparently still attending school while the abuse was going on. And it also, this is kind of like one of those things that investigators have determined is that the abuse has been happening since 2022. So, yeah, this is one of those things of how the hell did they get away with it for so long? It's because there were no signs before. Like, got no idea. But we will get into the early investigation at some point, I think, where I think it was like the first two people that got arrested really spilled the beans during interviews, and that led to all the other arrests. Sheriff Jody Wade believes there are many more involved. I don't know if I have the numbers written down, but I do remember reading 15 to 20 more suspects. A former teacher apparently raised flags about one of the children nearly a year before the case surfaced. The teacher and staff reported their concerns to admins. Alabama DHR is bound by state confidentiality laws and cannot comment. Most of the 7 suspects don't have any serious criminal history. Like, I think they all were kind of clean except for like maybe a couple traffic violations. Like, they were not criminals, surprisingly, but they are now, and they are the worst fucking kind. But some of the victims' offenders were their own parents and relatives. So yeah, you see how like a bunch of the names, their last name is Terrell. Yeah, they were abusing some of their own kids, and also Rebecca Brewer. But yeah, that's fucking disgusting. Oh my god. I am going to be sick. I do not understand it. Okay, I'm going to stop reading my notes for a second just to say this. If you are a parent, I don't think I should have to explain this to you. You are supposed to protect your children. You are not supposed to be causing them fucking trauma and selling them to people as appointments for not even $200 a night. I do not understand how you can sell out your own fucking kid. I don't get it. I would kill somebody if they fucking asked me if they could. Oh my god. There's no fucking way. Okay, look, it is these defendants here, these suspects, that make me really, really hope that hell exists. So that way I have the peace of mind of knowing that they are going to burn for eternity. Okay. Your own fucking kids. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I've got... Okay, hold on. I need to take a breather. I'm taking a sip of coffee. God. Okay. Okay, we're good. Okay. Most of the suspects' prior history were just traffic violations. The defense team for one of the 7 has filed a motion to restrict media coverage and public access to pre-trial court proceedings. The move aims to protect their rights to a fair trial by limiting exposure to prejudicial information. Well, that kind of makes sense, because if you let everybody know, hey, look, we got a bunch of sick animals that need to be put down. Yeah, no, I mean, the jury's gonna want them to be put down for sure. If only they would fall under the death penalty, but they don't. It's insane. But lawmakers are pushing to bring the harshest punishment possible. State lawmakers are pushing for the death penalty, but the people arrested would not receive the death penalty since they committed the crimes before it was initiated. So this is the thing. They are more likely going to get life in prison without parole, but the death penalty is not an option, because before this case happened, the death penalty was only used if the case involved a loss of life. I think what these kids have gone through well, let's see, if you got like a 5-year-old and it's 2025 and it's been going since 2022, kid was 2 years old when this first started. I think what they've experienced is probably just as bad. They are going to need a life of therapy because they will never be able to trust anyone ever again with their own safety because the people that are supposed to keep them safe did not. Oh my god. I'm I'm getting mad. I'm getting so mad. 7 of the 8 people charged say not guilty pleas. And this, I don't have a date. It just says Friday. But Friday's hearing makes investigators believe this has been happening for years and that there is evidence leading them to believe there are 15 to 20 more suspects not yet identified. 15 to 20. Keep in mind, they've been investigating this for a year now. Okay? Like I said, the investigation started in February 2025. It is now, what is today? It's June 2026. So the fact that we only have 8, despite everything going on, I don't know who these 15 to 20 suspects are, but I hope that we catch them. And yeah. But multiple victims, and this is where one of the ages gets the age range kind of dances around a little bit, where it says multiple victims, some as young as 2 years old. I don't know how they described it, but apparently described being touched, whipped, and shocked with a dog collar. I think we need the Punisher in real life. We absolutely need the Punisher in real life. A 2-year-old is going through this. A 2-year-old should not know what this is. I'm sick. I'm fucking sick. These people need to be put down. Bury them under the prison, please. For everybody's sake. I was watching some of the news reports, and there was some lady that said, I think they should release them to the townspeople and let us take care of them. I'm like, yes. Oh, and when I say release them, she was talking about the suspects. She wants some small town justice. And I don't blame her. I think we should be able to drug them or strain them to poles like they did their kids, and we should be able to do whatever we want to them. I mean, since they think it's okay, I think we should too. Maybe that's just me, though. I don't know. One child said she had to perform sexual acts while some of the suspects laughed and took pictures and videos. William Chase McElroy apparently was the one who taught the sexual behavior. Luckily, they are all under Alabama's accomplice liability law, which means, like, if you know of a crime and you watch it happen and you do nothing, you are an accomplice and you can be charged for the same crime. Hobbs, which is one of the detectives, said in interviews some of the suspects admitted to drugging the children with GHB, liquid ecstasy, and other drugs. I don't think I should say that any children getting injected with GHB and liquid ecstasy is probably not the best thing for their health. But I don't think these motherfuckers care. If I'm honest, yeah, this is a tough case. This is tough for me. Like, I'm getting very irritated by the page just because it's all just sitting in my mind. So at this point in time, no videos have been recovered, and I think this is when I read like a older news article, because I say the 5 defendants. But the 5 defendants under Anai's law were denied bond, which I did look it up. Let me read it. Anai's law is something to do with... Let's see. Okay. Empowers judges to deny pretrial bail to defendants charged with specific violent felonies. So yeah. They luckily fell under that and could not get bond. The 3 others remain in jail with no bond. William Chase McElroy was the first person interviewed. Result from that led to the arrest of Dalton Terrell, who confessed and opened up the trafficking case. After that, Timothy St. John was arrested. Then Rebecca Brewer, Sarah Terrell, and Ricky Terrell. As it stands right now, total number of victims is 10. And this is from like the first press hearing that I have written down. But more victims are expected. Homeland Security is involved because one of the suspects has gang ties to a gang who gets income from child trafficking. Apparently, there are about 12 more men directly involved, and Velasquez sold pictures. Rebecca Brewer and Sarah Terrell are both mothers to some of the victims, and they are also some of the abusers. They were abusing sexually their own children. I don't think I need to explain that this is not something mothers are supposed to do. No one is supposed to do something like this to their children. But from a mother, I'm sorry, but I do place like just as much value in the mama bear sort of protective mentality as I do as a dad protecting his children from, robbers and whatever. Like, this is simply not something that is supposed to happen. This is not something that normal people could even consider doing. One of the reporters asked if any of the suspects are on suicide watch, and I wrote down my own side comment where I said, I hope they get the Epstein treatment, because please, let's remove them from our own plane of existence. I am sick knowing that they are still breathing oxygen. And the reason why I'm so sure that they are guilty is not only because of the kids testifying, but it is also because of something I think is in my last page, which will bring kind of a little bit of a different view on this and more magnitude to it. But here we go. The defendants: Andres Trejo Velasquez, Olivia Alam, which if you've never heard me say that name, it's because I haven't. Got no idea who this woman is. Rebecca Brewer, Dalton Terrell, Sarah Terrell, Ricky Terrell, William Chase McElroy, and Timothy St. John Jr. all face more than 100 felonies combined. The judge outlined a plan to try 2 different defendants at a time and do bring in another judge to utilize 2 courtrooms to get these trials done before 2027. Prosecutors indicated Andres Trejo Velasquez and William Chase McElroy are anticipated to be the first two tried. There was a hearing April 6, 2026, where Judge Donald McMillan Jr. said the courtroom was cleared due to the nature of the evidence and concern that details discussed could impact the cases. He also said that media and the public should be allowed in future proceedings. The hearing is expected to include Rule 16 discussions. One of the defendants put in a request to postpone the upcoming June 2022-2026 trial date. Attorneys for William Chase McElroy filed a motion to continue the trial and also withdraw a previous request for a speedy trial. In the motion, defense attorneys argue they are not prepared for trial due to the complexity and scope of the case. Sorry, let me get a drink in. Sorry. I had to get some coffee. My throat was starting to dry up. But in the motion, defense attorneys argue they are not prepared for trial due to the complexity and scope of the case. They cite a massive amount of evidence, including thousands of pages of records, hours of interviews, and digital data from multiple phones and a laptop that hasn't been fully processed. It's indicated that the forensic evidence could take months to complete and may contain critical information to the defense. Since it's still under investigation, it's possible there will be additional charges or other suspects arrested. Attorneys say they have only recently received key evidence, including materials delivered on hard drives and dozens of DVDs, which they haven't been able to fully review. I don't know if I'd want to fully review those DVDs. The motion notes that mental health evaluations related to competency to stand trial are still pending, and the court rules proceedings are paused until they receive the results. All 8 defendants are currently scheduled for trial on June 22nd with a pre-trial on June 11th. The judge also wanted them tried 2 at a time for the sake of the witnesses and victims. Court records also reference a recent evidentiary hearing in the case. Media wasn't allowed inside and details remain limited. I'm just going to go ahead and say, because I'm sure in that hearing more stuff came out, and it's just going to sway the public opinion and any chance of a fair trial from jury, because I'm sure they're probably going to have to go out of state for the jury, if anything. But a defendant has renewed his request to delay an upcoming trial, and a newly filed court document reveals for the first time that he is also the subject of a federal investigation. William Chase McElroy's attorneys filed an amended motion Friday, assuming June 5th, asking a judge to continue the trial currently scheduled for June 22nd. The attorneys argue that they need more time to prepare because of the volume of evidence and the additional evidence that keeps coming in. According to the motion, the defense attorneys were contacted by the U.S. attorneys on June 2nd and informed that McElroy was under federal investigation regarding the allegations that comprise the indictment in this matter and related matters. The filing state's attorneys were advised that a federal target letter would be forthcoming and that federal authorities may periodically contact defense attorneys during the investigation. Target letter is a notice from federal prosecutors that a person is considered a target of a crime investigation. The filing doesn't indicate that McElroy has been charged. Defense attorneys argue the federal investigation is another reason to postpone so they can prepare for both state and matters with federal. Prosecutors recently made available 567 gigabytes of digital discovery and informed defense attorneys that more is coming, including cell phones that are still being reviewed. 567 gigabytes of information that is seen as evidence. Are you shitting me? That's a lot. That is a lot. 567? I don't even know how much is on my PlayStation. I don't know if it's that much though. Holy shit. Bunch of sick fucks. Defense attorneys also argue they haven't received test results for competency for McElroy. The prosecutors have not identified specific time periods for some of the alleged offenses listed. That does not fucking matter. What time did it happen? When did it happen? It does not matter. If it happened, it happened. Like, if you see a body that is, like, so decomposed that you can't tell a time of death, well then, of course, you may find a murder weapon. You may find all that evidence you need to point at this one guy. And then you're arguing, well, when did he kill him? It's like, that's not how it works. Defense attorneys cited thousands of pages of records, extensive digital evidence, ongoing investigations, and pending psych evals as reasons to postpone. One of the defendants pled guilty Thursday while the trials, and we're talking like just a couple weeks ago. While the trials for the remaining defendants were delayed, Rebecca Brewer pleaded guilty to 9 counts of first-degree kidnapping and 1 count of sexual torture. I do have her original charges listed in the back. You're going to be upset. Brewer had originally been charged with dozens of felony offenses, including rape, sodomy, human trafficking, kidnapping, sexual torture, and aggravated child abuse. And, like, the counts of it is what I have in the back. Like, it's quite a bit. She took a plea deal, but the details are sealed since the remaining cases are still pending. The charges carry a sentencing of at least 10 years up to life. The remaining defendants have denied the allegations against them, with some entering not guilty pleas and others entering pleas of not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect. Also, Andres Trejo Velasquez is a certified member of the, which I've never heard of these people, but the Serenos? Yeah, I've got no idea who they are, but apparently that's something. That is why Homeland Security is involved, about the gang ties to a gang that deals with human trafficking, is because of him. Okay, this is my last page. This is about all 8 of the defendants and what they are being charged with. First, we've got William Chase McElroy. 4 counts of first-degree rape, 6 counts of first-degree human trafficking, 6 counts of first-degree sodomy, 4 counts of first-degree kidnapping. Next, we've got Dalton Terrell, 6 counts of first-degree rape, 12 counts of first-degree sodomy, 5 counts of first-degree human trafficking. Andres Trejo Velasquez, 6 counts of first-degree human trafficking. That's it. Timothy St. John, 2 counts of first-degree rape, 4 counts of first-degree sodomy, 4 counts of human trafficking, 3 counts of first-degree kidnapping, 1 count of bestiality, 1 count of aggravated cruelty to animals. So he's a different kind of sick animal. Sarah Terrell, 5 counts of first-degree rape, 9 counts of first-degree sodomy, 9 counts of first-degree human trafficking, 9 counts of first-degree kidnapping, sexual torture, sexual abuse of a child younger than 12, and aggravated child abuse. Ricky Terrell, 5 counts of first-degree rape, 9 counts of first-degree sodomy, 9 counts of first-degree human trafficking, 9 counts of first-degree kidnapping, sexual torture, and aggravated child abuse. Rebecca Brewer, this is the one that took the plea deal to only get charged with, I believe it was trafficking and sexual torture. Rebecca Brewer, 5 counts of first-degree rape, 9 counts of first-degree sodomy, 9 counts of first-degree human trafficking, 9 counts of first-degree kidnapping, sexual torture, and aggravated child abuse. And then this is the last defendant, Olivia Alam, or Elam, whatever, who gives a shit. 5 counts of first-degree rape, 9 counts of first-degree sodomy, 9 counts of first-degree human trafficking, 9 counts of first-degree kidnapping, sexual torture, and aggravated child abuse. Those are all of my notes. That is everything I have written down so far. Now, if you listened earlier about the original trial dates, they were supposed to be taking place, yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. As of right now, I believe they have all been pushed back, which really does suck, because it kind of sounds like we have all the evidence we need. And I'm going to go ahead and say, based on how much evidence it seems like we have, I don't think Rebecca Brewer should have gotten a plea deal. I think she should have gotten the fullest. I think she should have gotten charged with everything she's being accused of. But, I mean, shoot, if she's going to help put away the rest of them, then I don't know. I can only hope that she still gets life in prison without parole, because she is liable to get that. With human trafficking and sexual torture, yeah, it's possible. This is, like I said, this is a bad episode. This is a sad episode. This is aggravating. These are people from, where I'm from. Like, this is not city wise. Bibb County is like 3 hours away, but it's the whole idea that I can't believe that there are people like this that exist. Your own children. I just do not understand it. Well, I've got another episode planned to come out this Friday. It's supposed to be a movie review of Behind the Mask, the rise of... Hold on. Got the DVD with me. Behind the Mask, the rise of Leslie Vernon. I'm going to start watching that as soon as I turn this off and I get it uploaded. But I hope that you all have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.